Hi guys, welcome back to the Patti Martin Real Estate Group YouTube channel. It is our monthly market update. And again, we're joined with Patti Martin for an expert opinion. So it's very interesting when the board comes out with their release, and the first thing they say is February listing data shows a continued reluctance among prospective home sellers to engage in Metro Vancouver's housing market, leading to below average sales activity. Now, I read that, I think the market's going down. Is that the case, Patti?
No, not at all.
So before we kind of get into the information and debunk this first sentence, there was a very interesting post here made by the Canadian Bankers Association. And they're looking at residential mortgage arrears, and arrears is 90 days past due. And they say in Canada, the arrears or default rate is 0.15%.
Wow.
That's
That's,
that's nothing.
that's crazy.
And then this is the interesting part is that in BC, with a population of about 5,071,000, there's about 725, 750,000 people that have mortgages. Of that, the default rate is 0.1%.
Wow.
0.1%.
Wow.
So 14% of the BC population actually has a mortgage, but overall 0.1% are in arrears.
So the only thing I would say to that is that we're still probably sitting with really low interest rates on those mortgages for the most part, because most mortgages, are halfway through or quarter of the way through with under 3%. And what we really want to look at is in about 2 years from now when we have 5, 6, 7% mortgages that are hurting people a little bit. Because if you think about somebody that's got a 2 or 2.5% mortgage and they refinance,
Well,
their
yeah.
payment's doubling overnight.
Yeah, they're going to be, well, one, they're going to be stress tested. So the contract rate is about 6%. They're going to be stress tested at about 8.5%.
Mm,
Yeah, it's going to go up. So, I mean, interest rates have increased to 4.25% in under a year. They've gone up, sorry, 4.25% in under a year.
yeah,
That's a 15-year high.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's possible because people had to stress test that they're in a perfectly fine situation with the increase. It's
Yeah.
possible. But, there's a lot of leveraging going around these days. And so it might catch up to some people. That number may change in the next year or so.
So let's talk about the sales. So we see that since February 2022, sales are down 47.2%. And that's an astronomical number when we're looking year over year. But then when we're looking month over month, look what happened. Sales are up nearly 77%
Yeah,
since last month.
yeah.
So what changed
So,
there?
well, a bit more inventory for sure, and just a bit more or just less reluctance to get into the market, even though the interest rates are higher, because people are sort of becoming accustomed to it. I mean, the rates are still not that high. It's just that we've had such low rates. It's kind of scary for people, but once they kind of get used to it, they realize it's not that big a deal and they still want to buy a house.
Yeah, they still see the bright side of Vancouver real estate in the long
For
run, which
sure.
it's
For
still
sure.
quite optimistic when you look at the macroeconomic side of it. It's interesting because the sales totaled about 1,800 in February 2023, and I was looking back about 10 years ago, and the last time that we had this few sales was in February 2013, was 1,800. February 2019 was just under 1,500 sales. And then more recently, April 2020, so like pinpoint
Mm.
COVID, there was only 1,120 sales.
It's funny you said that 2013 because I was thinking about when the last time we had an enormous amount of inventory, and that would have been September of 2012. Like there was crazy inventory. We had so many houses for sale, like it was over 1,000 for sale. And I'm just talking Richmond,
Yeah,
and and right now we have 320. Like it's
that's low.
crazy, right?
That's really
It's
low.
just, yeah, so different. So that does not surprise me because there was too much choice and people did not have to make a decision. They could just take all day long to decide what they
The
wanted.
buyers could take their time.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
there's a little bit more of a crunch now. We'll get into some specifics pretty quick, but it's a good segue because when we're talking about new listings, so there's just under 3,500. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. New listings are down 36.6% from
Mm,
2022,
yeah,
but they're up from last month, only 5.2%.
yeah.
The sellers seem to be limping back into the market. And do you think this is because either they don't have a mortgage or their mortgage rate is too low, or they just can't see where they're going? Like,
They
where do you
they
think
can't
this
see where
stems?
they're going. They can't see where they're going. And I don't blame, you can't blame people, right? You reading that the inventory is so low, so you're going to put your house on the market, it sells now, where do you go, right? Having faith that the inventory will come, which I believe it will. I believe we're headed for that soon, sooner than later. But just there's no evidence of it yet, so it's difficult. The one thing I've noticed is some of the some of the listings in the last little while, the prices are way high for what the market seems to be bearing, and so that will lead to a buildup of inventory fairly quick because they won't sell.
That's a good comment. And then the market will determine a price, and buyers might get a chance, which will lead to some more negotiating room.
Yeah.
Right now, we're sitting at about 3,467 listings for all property types in Metro Vancouver.
Yes.
When I look back at the stats again, we're looking at about a 10-year range. For new listings, it's always somewhere between 2,000 and 6,000. And right around that spring time frame, the next like 3-4 months, inventory starts to pick up for
Yes.
multiple reasons. So
Yeah.
this is a good reason. People are starting to overprice their homes potentially, and then
That's
it's
a good reason. Yeah.
okay.
It'll start to build up. Yeah. Yeah. And it's inevitable, right? If it sits on the market, then as the new listings come up, the numbers build. It's not a good time to be overpricing because you're just going to find yourself in a really big pickle in about 3 months when there's too many things to choose from, and now your price is probably going to start softening
Yes. Yeah, I
from what
totally.
it really should sell for, not from what you're asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So savvy buyers out there who are ready, who are working with a trusted professional, should know the real value within a certain degree of, range, about what these homes should sell for.
Yeah, our prices are pretty stable, Adam. There is a little bit of a multiple offer going on, but if you look at like whenever I'm listing something, if we're getting a multiple, it's because we've aggressively priced it in order for that to happen,
Yeah,
not because we're surprised by the number of people, only that we've aggressively priced it so that we bring everyone to the table at the same time.
it also goes back to the amount of buyers that are out there. Like, yes, you're seeing an 80% increase in buyer activity, but buyers are sitting there, they're ready to get back into the market. And so the buyers that I've been working with, the past 4 or 5 offers that we've put in, every single one has been a multiple offer. Every single one
Yeah,
has been a multiple offer.
yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting to see what's out there. There's not a lot to choose from, and the good properties that are priced well, not like low, but are priced well,
Right.
they will get attention.
Yes, but the price is still reasonably easy to determine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's no major swings like we saw in the past few years. There's
Right.
no big surprises in terms of pricing right now.
When we're looking at the total number of homes listed on the MLS system in Metro Vancouver, right now we're sitting at 7,868 listings. It's a 16.7% increase compared to February 2022. So again, it's just a number out there for comparison reasons, and another 5.2% increase compared to January. So again, we're looking at all listings in general. The amount of listings is up marginally. And I thought that this was pretty interesting, because we were talking about, the highest point in the market, or how many, when there was the most amount of listings back in Richmond. You said there was about 1,000 a decade ago. So May 2013, 18,339 listings total on the MLS in Metro Vancouver.
Okay.
That is double. It's more,
Yeah.
just over double where we are today.
Yeah.
That's astounding. So the lowest we've ever had was actually December 2021. So December
Okay.
2021, the lowest number of listings we had was 5,529.
Wow.
And only 4 times since 2005 have the number of listings fallen below 7,000.
Wow.
So it shows you like our inventory, it's really low.
That's really low. Yeah.
We'll see how long it takes to change, because that's going to really determine kind of where our market goes. But even with
For
the
sure.
delinquency rates, positive attitude from buyers, positive job numbers, the outlook of Vancouver economy, I don't see our market drastically changing unless two things happen. There's a massive spike in interest rates. Like we're talking 10+%.
Yeah.
Or a whole bunch of sellers all at once put their property on the market, where we're getting into that 13 to 18,000 listings on the market. Like we have to seriously double our numbers.
Yeah. It's very possible that that could happen though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it does happen that fast. Like it's one day there are no listings and the next there are a lot.
Yeah.
It can happen that fast. And I've seen it happen several times. So it's something that I think about all the time because we've been inventory starved for so long. It's just inevitable that it's going to happen. I just can't tell you the day, but I'm positive it will. Right?
Okay, we're on record saying this, so let's see what happens. We'll start
Like I
putting in our
said, can't
bets.
say the day, don't know,
Yeah.
but it's inevitable.
The last comment I want to make is just about listings ratios. So sales to active listing ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's 23% for all property types.
Like
So
general average.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the minute we get over the 20, we're into more of a seller's market.
Correct.
Anything below about 12 is a buyer's market. When we
Yes.
break it down to property type, we're at 17% for detached homes. Okay, so more of a balanced market.
Mm-hmm.
30% sales to active ratio for townhomes,
Mm-hmm.
and then 25.8, so 26% for apartments.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense to me, looking at what I've been seeing with my clients when we're doing our property tours. Like
it makes perfect sense to me
yeah,
too right now. Yeah. That's exactly right. And some of it is price related, price
there's
point
more people that
related.
can afford, a 1.2 to 1.5 million dollar townhome versus a minimum like 1.78 million dollar home that still
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
renovation.
I mean, if you look at over 2 million, it's pretty bleak. The number of like the minute you head over that 2 million mark for certainly here in Richmond for housing, it all of a sudden falls off very quickly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we're nearing the end here, and I think just like we did last month, we want to kind of give our audience here, buyers and sellers, a prediction or some type of a guideline on what to do if they are planning to buy or sell. So if we're talking to our sellers, what are we saying, Patty?
If you're going to sell this year, seriously consider doing it when no one else is, because you're probably going to reap the benefits of that.
Yeah, so very
If you
similar message to last month. It was if
to
you're
last month. And from a buyer perspective, I mean, Adam, we know we're working with several buyers. As long as you're on the ball, working with someone as on the ball as you are, or any of the team, we have to walk away from some stuff. Some stuff gets stupid. You did that last night. It was silly. But the majority of the purchases that are being made, the people have time to think about it. They've done their homework. They've been able to see enough inventory. It's not as much as maybe in 2012, but it definitely, there's still product for them to see and time for them to make a decision. And some of our buyers have ended up in really nice positions. So there's,
Yeah, it's about preparing.
it's not frantic, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it's not. These most of the time agents are putting the properties on, allowing people to view it, giving people a chance to read documents, make an informed decision, and then they set an offer deadline. They're getting multiple offers. So I mean, the selling side, they're doing their job. We would do the same thing. And buyers, make sure you've done all your homework and you'll be in a good position to buy.
Yeah. And like any multiple offer situation, there's really, even if there's 7 or 8 offers, there's really only 1 or 2 you're actually, if you're serious about buying it, there's only usually 1 or 2 that you're actually competing against. The
Yeah,
rest are, sort of
testing the
not
waters.
really in the game,
Yeah,
right?
I hear you.
So,
On that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else that you'd like to say just about the February market in general? Just anything that you've seen out there?
no, I mean, it's still, as I said, it's kind of a quirky market. We're still, there's not that much to choose from. Lots of people want to buy. Interest rates are high, and but there's time. It's not, there's no franticness to the market, so there's still time to make good decisions. That's what we always want people to have, that time, so that they feel comfortable about what they're doing. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good market, really. There's just the little tiny pockets where it's a little bit more challenging. 700,000, $500,000 properties. Those are a little more challenging. But other than that, yeah, we've got, it's still a good time to buy.
Awesome.
Still a great time to buy.
Let's leave it with that. If anybody wants to get in touch with Patty or myself or anybody from the Patti Martin team, click the link in the description below. All of our contact information is there, and we would love to find a time to chat with you and advise you on how to go about buying or selling in this type of market.
Thanks, Adam.
Awesome, Patty. Have a great day.
You too.